What's up, guys? Welcome back on this Sunday, where we're gonna talk about how brutal Juve is operating, or are they just desperate? Because Motta came out with a quote, as you can see already on my right hand side or left hand side, and it's a brutal quote. It shows that the club is very serious about certain things, and or is just panicking about certain things, and the certain things being players they already have told you need to leave a couple of weeks ago, months ago, but are still at the club right now, which is very, very interesting. So we're going to talk about, is the club being brutal, honest, or are they just so desperate right now that they are going to extreme limits to get players out, risking selling these players on a very, very cheap deal, which is also not what they want, but that's the situation we're in right now. Before we do that, as always, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's talk about the brutal Juve. Okay, so as everybody know, we played against Brest. Not really going to talk about that, maybe touch on it, but we left a lot of players at home. Nicolosi, Rugani, Milik, Kostic, Chiesa, Diallo, McKennie, they were all left behind at home. And some were saying, okay, they're out of the project, injuries whatsoever. But Motta made it a very, very clear post-game. He said that Chiesa is out. He's not in the game for market reasons, along with the others who stayed at home, except Miretti, who was injured. We have been clear they are talented, but need to find opportunities where they can play more. The decision regarding Chiesa and others have been made, and he also said, we told these players that they're not part of the project, they need to leave. Now, when you take that stand in August, by the way, you are desperate. You don't do that in July. You don't come out to the media like that in July. To be honest, the 18th, I think it was the 18th of August of July, Giuntoli came out saying everybody is part of the project still, because at that moment in time, everybody has a value. There's still some time. Now it's August. We need to get these players out, or the club is looking at these players thinking, we need you all to leave. And now we're just going to come out and say, please, players, leave, because you're still here in August. We told you months ago, you're still here. Now we are desperate. We need money, and that's the risk you take, because now the entire world knows, confirmed, that these players need to leave. The offers you're going to get are not going to be high, and they were never going to be high because we don't rate a lot of these players. So imagine other clubs looking at it saying, hey, you want them out. We're not going to spend a lot of money on these players because you guys are desperate to let them go. Chiesa, first off, speculations, maybe he can stay. And again, if no offer comes in, some of these players are still going to be here. We're not going to kick them out. We're not going to bench them. Some of these players are still going to be here because I don't think it's possible to get rid of all these players. Chiesa has no offers right now. He had an offer from Roma, maybe Besiktas or whatever, but he doesn't want to take those offers. So we're stuck. He's stuck. We are stuck. Chiesa is one of them. Arthur, no options, no offers. Kostic, no offers. Milik, no offers. Rugani, we're so desperate, we're loaning him out for free after signing him up to a new deal. That's on Giuntoli. That's a horrible mistake. Diallo, out of the project, needs to play after his injury, not in the team. Who am I missing? Nicolosi needs to leave. De Sciglio needs to leave. Miretti is the only one. He said Miretti because he could have easily said Kostic and Milik are also injured, so that's why they're not here. He specifically said all the players besides Miretti because he's injured. So I'm assuming that even Kostic, Arthur, De Sciglio, they all need to leave, but there are no offers. That's why the club is basically telling the entire world it's fire sale. We'll probably hand out discounts, so please come knocking at our door so we can kick out these players. That's how it feels now. Kicking out these players so we can recoup some money and actually make some signings. Because the Sule and Heuse one, now it's obvious, it's clearly not enough to get the signings we need. And we need signings. We need a center back. We need an attacking midfielder. We need two wingers, not one, two. Because if you lose Chiesa, you replace him. But I've seen way I play, preseason or not, his end product is not really there. So you need something on that side as well. You just cannot hope that we are somehow found end product, that Yildiz goes from interesting talent to ready-made, established team, first team, top player in one season. He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna learn. He needs to learn. So you cannot ask that for him as well. And then you leave out Vlahovic again up there on his own, because preseason so far is kind of the same. You have a striker up there who's kind of on his own right now. We struggle to get him the ball consistently. We struggle to actually box something decent together because we're playing without quality wingers and so on, so on. So that is right now the issue, that it's very clear that we need to get rid of these players, because otherwise we're not being able to sign players, basically. Now, Rugani is alone. Diallo is alone. Forget about these players. Arthur, you're going to get the bare minimum if you get him out. Deschilio, again, it's the bare minimum. The only player you can get some money, and even though the money you're going to get is probably just to balance out the books, is Chiesa. Other than that, Milik, Kostic are players you hopefully just get your money back on the books so you can reinvest, basically. But the offers are not there. They're not there. It's a very slow window, not just for us, but actually for all of Europe. Just look across the board. There are not a lot of actual signings being made by top clubs right now. It's a very weird transfer window. Nothing really is moving. And maybe this week, starting from Monday, everything pops off. Every team is like, okay, now we need to do what we have to do and maybe go for plan B. And maybe a plan B or C is a Kostic for a team, or a Milik for a team, or a Chiesa, so on, so on. But the decision has been made, like Giuntoli, basically Giuntoli said. Motta probably talked with Giuntoli, said, okay, we're going to take this stance. We're going to tell the world these players are out. But it's a bold move that is, if it doesn't work out, people will look at you and will say, that's what you did. Not we. You told the world. And again, we don't know. Maybe there is a contract issue. Maybe Chiesa is asking for something and the club's like, no, we're not going to do that. And maybe it's about money, but there's no proof. And maybe it is about the club not really believing in Chiesa. I think it's a mixture of both. I think Chiesa's asking for a certain amount that definitely is not 8 million or so on. But it's an amount that the club is like, okay, we're not sure right here to hand you that money, because he's not part of the project. He's not a scrub. He's not a Deschilio you're going to get rid of or trying to get rid of. He's not that type of player. Yes, he's not been the same after his injuries, so on and so on. I get it. But he's not a Deschilio. He's not that type of player you're trying to absolutely push out no matter what. So you need to be careful. It can backfire massively. You can look like fools, like real fools, in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, when you are kicking off the season and you actually only have one winger and Timothée Weah. Then you are in big trouble. Even though the media is saying it's going to be one winger, only Pedula saying two, it doesn't make sense timing, because you're haggling for Todibo. The coal miner's still hanging in the balance. It goes from Adeyemi to Galeno to Conceição to Sancho to Berardi. I've seen again. It's all over the place. It feels like the club is a bit struggling right now. Giuntoli is a bit struggling. And that's why this quote, for me, is telling, where the club's like, okay, this is it. We played the nice guys 3 weeks ago. We were like, hey, they're part of the project. But now we actually need the money. We need to get the tempo, because it's been 2 weeks. We start the season. Next week, we play Atletico. And then the season kicks off. Or next week, we play Atletico in a couple of days. And a week from now, And a week after that, we kick off the season. And we need so much. So, brutally honest, but also desperation mode. That's what it is. But let me know in the comments what you think. Are you still calm, composed? Do you believe you will get these deals over the line? And what do you think about how the club is moving with the players like Chiesa, McKennie, so on, so on? Let me know. Subscribe, like, and I will speak to you guys very soon. Ciao.